Hello and welcome to the worship with Dr. Ford and the Second Missionary Baptist Church. Now get your iPad, your pen and paper, and let's enjoy a great worship of God's matchless word.
I have three scriptures I want you to look at. The first is in Matthew chapter 20, verse 21. If you have the place, Matthew 20 and 21. Let's read there. Came the mother of Zacchaeus, Matthew 20, verse 20 and 21. You ready? Let us read. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left hand in thy kingdom. And Mark chapter 7. Mark's just over from Matthew. Verse 25 and 26. Mark 7, 25 and 26. If you don't have it, it's on the screen. And let us read. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit, heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. And the last one is John 2, verses 3 and 5. John 2, verses 3 and 5. If you have the location, let us consider. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, They have no wine. His mother said unto the servant, Whatsoever he said unto you, do it. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, something about a mother's plea. A mother's plea is suggestive. It's authoritative. And it requires some form of action. When a mother makes her plea, take a moment. Make sure you understand what she's asking for. If necessary, get some more information before you answer. Mother has a plea, and when she pleads for her child, all of heaven pays attention. Yeah. She said, can they sit on your right and can they sit on your left hand? She was ambitious for her boys, and sometimes we don't understand that in order for our children to be what God is requiring them is dependent on how you mamas have nurtured and prepared them. Your job is to nurture them through love so they can excel, so they can exceed and excel. And depending on how you've taught and nurtured and loved and demonstrated and struck a pose before your children, they will act out what they've seen happen in the home. And if you want them to be strong, if you want them to be wise, if you want them to call on the name of the Lord, if you want them to acknowledge that Jesus is Christ, your child will love the God you love. if your God is money, if your God is position, if your God is drugs, if your God is alcohol, if your God is the God who's able to do anything but fail, if your God is Jehovah Jireh, the provider, if your God is Jehovah Nissi, the standard, if your God is Jehovah Rapha, the shepherd, if your God is Jehovah Raha, the healer, if your God is Jehovah Nissi, if your God is able to do anything but fail, your children will call on your God when the storm is raging, when the lightning begin to flash, and when everybody turn away, your child will recognize, I got a God that sticketh closer than a brother. I got a God that's able to do anything. I got a God who can make a way. And she turned to the servants and said, whatever he tell you to do, do it. And then your mom makes a plea, because she's saying when life doesn't work out like it should, she'll ask you, have you prayed about it? She's not asking if you've prayed. She's asking, have you got down on your knees and talked to the Lord about it? When things are not like they ought to be, she'll say, have you talked to the Lord about it? She's not concerned about when or where the conversation took place. She wants to know, have you and the Lord been talking about it? So sometimes it's kind of hard to watch your child go through it, Mom, but sometimes you just need to stand there. And in the case, she was standing there while they ridiculed and talked about him, while they tore his clothes. She stood there. If she could take his place, she would have, but she couldn't do that. It was her position to take up her position and stand there. And it says that, and she stood there. She kept on standing as long as her son was hanging out. As long as her daughter was going through, Mom had made up her mind she was going to stand right there. You know, sometimes mamas and grandmothers, they that way. They don't say nothing, but they just stand there, and it's clear and loud, and she ain't said a word. Sometimes she doesn't make a plea, but her presence is so bodacious. Maybe I don't have it in anybody's house. You ever had your mother just stand up?
To request this full message, visit our website at smbctgm.com or give us a call at 855-254-0847.